Good morning, everyone. I have no financial disclosures to make. Conjunctival myxoid stromal proliferations are proliferations of the conjunctival mesenchyme that have an abundant myxoid matrix in them. These lesions are pretty uncommon and have a controversial nosology. Some authors call all these lesions as myxomas. Then there's another group of authors who came up with a subgroup called conjunctival stromal tumor. Later on, another group of authors felt that these belong to the same spectrum and decided to call these lesions as conjunctival stromal myxoid tumors. A few of them have syndromic associations, and at times these can be pretty lethal, such as a Carney complex. Hence, their timely diagnosis and differentiation from each other is very important. Now, when we pathologists see a stroma to be loose and bluish or purple in color, we tend to call it myxoid. This is because of the abundance of mucoid material in the stroma. Myxoid proliferations per se are of two types. Some are intrinsically myxoid, like a myxoma. Then there are others which are myxoid variants of non-myxoid entities, like a myxoid liposarcoma. Now, myxoid proliferations that can involve the conjunctiva are numerous. One such lesion is a conjunctival stromal tumor, or COST. This was a benign tumor that was first described by Herwig et al. In 2012. They occur sporadically and usually tend to affect adults as gelatinous masses involving the bulbar conjunctiva and have a very typical histopathology of spindle cells in an abundantly myxoid matrix. So we conducted this study to elucidate the clinical-pathological features, immunohistochemical findings, and outcomes in patients with COST. Ours was a retrospective case series involving patients with biopsy-proven COST. Patient folders were assessed for clinical details. Hematoxylin and eosin slides were reviewed for light microscopic features, and immunohistochemistry using a panel of antibodies was performed in all cases. To make a diagnosis of COST, the lesion had to be a benign mesenchymal proliferation with myxoid stroma. While the cells could be both spindle and stellate types, the stellate cells need to account for less than 30%. Pseudonuclear inclusions and multinucleate giant cells were to be present in all, and the tumor cells had to be positive for CD34 and Vimentin. Using this, we diagnosed 10 patients in the age range 32 to 74 years. It affected males more than the females. While all patients had involvement of the bulbar conjunctiva, the temporal aspect was affected more than the nasal. These lesions usually presented as painless, gradually progressive gelatinous masses of 3 to 24 months duration, either yellowish white, white and translucent, or red in color. A conjunctival cyst was the most frequent clinical diagnosis. In only one case was the patient diagnosed correctly to have COST. This was because the clinician had encountered a similar lesion just few months ago, highlighting the importance of awareness of these tumors. Under the microscope, COST presents as a non-encapsulated mass in the substantia propria with cells in a loose myxoid stroma, which is Alcian blue positive. Cellularity ranges from low to medium. Again, like I said, the cells were a mixture of spindle and stellate cells, with spindle cells outnumbering the stellate cells. Collagen was either ropey or fibrillar. Can you see these arrows pointing towards halos within nuclei? Now, these are pseudonuclear inclusions. They were present in all our cases. Multinucleate giant cells were also present in all. The figure on your right shows a cell having nuclei in a flower-like arrangement. That's a floret cell. These were also present in all our cases. Tumor cells in all patients were positive for Vimentin, CD34, and BCL2. Ki-67 labeling index was less than 1%, further highlighting the benign nature of these tumors. Now, since several myxoid lesions can affect the conjunctiva, the list of differential diagnosis for COST is extensive. However, myxoma and myxoid variant of solitary fibrous tumor are the closest. As opposed to COST, myxoma has a preponderance of stellate cells, fewer vessels, and is usually CD34 negative, though that's not a rule. Multinucleate giant cells and floret cells are absent in myxoma, which are present in COST. Further, syndromic myxomas usually have a positive expression for PRKR1E. Now, myxoid solitary fibrous tumor and COST both have myxoid stroma, both can have ropey collagen and share immunohistochemical profiles. However, floret cells, pseudonuclear inclusions, and multinucleate giant cells, when present, point towards a COST. Other morphological mimics can be excluded through extensive sampling, careful histopathological evaluation, and use of immunohistochemistry. Now, of the 10 patients, 9 were treated primarily with surgical excision. One patient went to a general ophthalmologist and was administered corticosteroids and then referred to a specialist who performed a complete surgical excision. In the 9, we had a follow-up duration of 9 to 36 months, and none of our patients had a recurrence. Now, this is a table which shows observations in patients with COST in published literature. This table shows a comparison of findings in literature and those in our studies. And the observations in our study were pretty much comparable to those in literature. To conclude, we describe findings in patients with conjunctival stromal tumor, a relatively recently described benign proliferation of the conjunctival mesenchyme with conflicting nosology that shares clinical pathological features with several myxoid lesions involving the conjunctiva. Given the association of those lesions with syndromes, their timely diagnosis and differentiation from those lesions is important. Awareness of this entity coupled with careful histopathological evaluation aided by immunohistochemistry will help reach a diagnosis. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mule. Thank you for this excellent work.
Thank you,
You're right. This is indeed, it is uncommon because of the improper diagnosis or late diagnosis. Once we are aware, once people are aware of these entities, more and more diagnosis will become.
Correct, sir.
Conjunctival cyst was the commonest in your find.
Yes, sir. Probably because of the gelatinous appearance and the circumscribed nature. Probably that was the commonest clinical diagnosis.
Cyst has quite different presentation.
Can you
cyst is more of a fluidic in nature.
One or two pathognomonic signs?
One is basically, sir, these are, I mean, when you look under the microscope, these are very paucicellular tumors. Clinical, they are very difficult to differentiate from other conjunctival lesions. That's why, most of them are diagnosed either as a cyst, or the second most common differential diagnosis was a myxoma. So clinically, it is very difficult to differentiate these myxoid conjunctival lesions from each other. Pathology is quintessential.
But I think ASOCT will help. Like if most of the epithelial tumors, how to differentiate from stromal and other tumors. Suppose the lesion is subepithelial and all those, ASOCT is a very helpful investigation before subjecting the patient to any excision biopsy and all those. I agree clinically is very difficult to differentiate both the entities, stromal tumors and OSSs, particularly epithelial tumors. But ASOCT will, like, suppose if you're planning excision and any adjuvant therapy, so definitely ASOCT before any histopathological analysis definitely help in this type of cases.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kaustuv. That was a great